We're going to talk about the debt, right? We'll talk about debt is hitting 35 trillion. Every 100 days, it's going up a trillion, all that negative stuff. It's not negative, it's reality. You guys have to deal with it. So what I wanted to know is all this debt, right? That is a good thing. That is like the oil of the economy. We need some debt, not out of control 35 trillion in debt that we're never going to get paid back. But that is a good thing. A lot of corporations use debt. I use debt, but you have to use it smart. Okay. Here's the deal. What is this debt producing? Right? So our GDP is 27 trillion. Our debt is for 2024. Our debt just hit 35 trillion. We're 125% of GDP. So all this time, the last 12 trillion that we put on fire since 2020, like I said, what did that get us? Right? So there is an ROI, something called ROI, return on investment. Look at that as investment. If I'm borrowing money at 5%, let's say, well, I better be opening a business or do something with it that gets me 10%. So I'll do the servicing of the debt at 5%, and then I'll make myself net margin of 5. Think about it, right? So the US government federal debt just hit 35 trillion, right? Up 12 trillion last 4 years. What did it get us? So here's the answer. Currently, every new dollar of US public debt generates, think about this, just 58 cents of GDP, near the lowest on record. Now, we put a dollar on fire, which I would expect if I put a dollar on fire, okay, I would get $1.58 out of that. So that's the net margin, okay, after I pay the dollar debt off. No, think about this. We put a dollar on fire, and then we get 58 cents out of it. You guys getting this picture yet? You getting it? Okay. How is this working? How is this going? Is it good? No. By comparison, in the 1960s, when I was born, this metric was high as $9.80. Meaning, when the US government put a dollar on fire and borrowed, the return was almost 10, meaning 10 to 1. Now, that's how you use debt properly. Okay? In 2000, let's not go back too far, it was 4. Meaning, when we spent in the 2000 crash, right, government tried to save the economy and pump the money in, we got 4 out of that. So $1 returned 4. Still positive margin. Think about margin. In the 60s, $1, before we were dead crazy and we had politicians who love spending our shit, $10. So 1 to 10 ratio, 1 to 4 ratio. Where are we today? Today we're at negative 1 to 58 cents. How's this working out for you? Powell, Yellen, Biden, Trump, all of you. How's this working out? Good? Yeah, sure. So over the last 4 years, U.S. national debt has skyrocketed by 11.6 trillion, 12 trillion, while the U.S. added 6.6 trillion in GDP. So all that money that we put on fire, right? We spent 12 trillion. It could only get us 6.6 trillion in GDP growth. So that's where the 58 cents comes into play. So maybe we should stop putting money on fire until we can get back to the 60s or maybe the 2000s, where our return on our investment, ROI on the debt, was good. 4 to 1, 10 to 1. In other words, U.S. economy's productivity has declined near the worst levels in modern history. What's the long-term plan here? I don't know. Maybe they'll elect me and then I'll just go fire everybody. Seriously, this is ridiculous. Another chart that should not be going the way it should be going. So do you guys see this chart? In the chart, it goes back to 1952. That's where the 10 to 1 ratio was, right? So what we're doing is we keep borrowing, but then the productivity gains with that borrowing is not keeping pace with anything. In fact, we're under the red line. We're at negative now. So that means at least we should not put money on fire. That doesn't produce shit, right? So here's your ROI, people. Here's what your people are doing in Washington and in the government. They're borrowing, spending. Nothing is happening. In fact, we're just literally putting the money on fire now.